My name is Ben Graetz. I'm a proud Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander man. I was born on Larrakia country. I say my Western pronouns are he and him, and my cultural pronouns are undefined. I'm also of German, Irish, English descent, and I'm currently living on Gadigal country. I am the Festival Creative Director for Sydney World Pride and have been in that position for the last 2 years, and very excited to be bringing World Pride to Sydney. And I also have a drag character, my alter ego, called Miscellaneous. Pride is about being your authentic self. It's a big reminder as well for us to know that Pride is about the fight for equality. We still have a lot of challenges within the LGBTQI+ community, and I think Pride allows us to celebrate all the great things, but also for us to remember that we still have a lot of challenges that face our community, and it's really about the fight for equality for all. The year that has a lot of resonance is, I think, when you come out. I do remember it was around when I was 27, so I won't give away the year because that'll give away my age. Like, that moment in time was a really special moment, particularly coming out to my father. It was one of the moments, I think, that affect a lot of people from our community. It's very daunting. You feel in that moment that if you do come out, that you are gonna lose family and friends. And particularly in that moment, it was about me being fearful of losing my father. But once I did it, it was an incredible weight off my shoulders. My father accepted it, and it in a way has brought us closer together, but there are a lot of people from our community where that journey hasn't been the same, and I think for those reasons we have to really ensure that we do look after community, that we are there for each other. When I first moved to Sydney in 1996, it was a very different time and place, obviously, but we were still living with the AIDS epidemic. Medication was just being trialled and coming through. So because of that, there was sadness, but there was a real strong sense of community back then. I think that now we've moved into a very different time where a lot of our interaction is done through social media, through technology. I think we still crave our connection with each other, and I think because of that, Sydney World Pride is really going to be a time where we're able to all come together again and celebrate, and the city is opening up. So it's going to be a really special occasion where all of our community, doesn't matter your sexuality or how you identify with your gender, like Sydney World Pride's for everyone. We still have a bit of a fight on our hand in terms of equality, and particularly Sydney World Pride being a part of the Asia Pacific region as well. We know that there are a lot of challenges that face the LGBTQI+ community from those areas, and so Sydney World Pride not only will be, shining a spotlight on our challenges here in our country, but also the Asia Pacific region. As they say, love will always win. We love to party, but we also love to party with purpose, and a part of that is ensuring that we're supporting those that may need it, that don't have that visibility, and really being able to let them shine. As a First Nations queer man, there's challenges within our community that we face a lot of discrimination, and we say that we are minorities with minorities, and people often ask us, how was the queer culture, or how were queer people prior to colonisation? And it's really hard for us to answer because a lot of the issues faced by First Nations people, a lot of that was erased. And so, we're in the process of being able to really understand what went on pre-colonisation. And it's also hard because a lot of the information that we have now that was documented has come from cis heterosexual white men who a lot of the time may have been homophobic. So let alone do we have queer history prior to that time, but to have our First Nations history has been really challenging to understand. But what we do know is that if you look at all the First Nations cultures around the world, there has been a connection with the two-spirit community or communities that have multiple genders. And you just need to look at the Samoan culture or the cultures in India or the Maori culture. There is definitely a relationship with the queerness, and I think for First Nations mob it's just around trying to understand that again and trying to really work through how it looked pre-colonisation. We know it was there, but in what capacity, we don't exactly know. But we're a very supportive community. We have sister girls and brother boys who identify as female and male spirits, which are part of our trans community. But obviously we do have a lot of other different non-binary and different roles and responsibilities within our communities. It's an interesting journey because you're learning things each day. You're also respecting people's journey in that way. Like, we're also not all the same, particularly with First Nations mob. We all come from different areas and we all have different ways of connecting with each other and community. So, you know, it becomes a very complex way for us to understand our queerness as well. The one thing we do know is that we're very supportive of each other and that we're 100% fabulous. Particularly around Sydney World Pride. Get out there and experience it. Maybe go and see something spontaneous, because we've got over 300 events, over 17 days, taking over all of Greater Sydney. So there's going to be something for everyone, and we just encourage people to go out and support community. Go and see the things you might not have thought you might want to go and see, and learn something about someone else or the community that you might not know about. But most of all, be safe, be kind, and look after each other.